At the small seaside town of Whakatane, people are leaving tributes for those who lost their lives in the volcanic eruption just off the coast.
Moving around the community, we're certainly, hearing about a lot of grief and suffering. Whakatane is a moderately small community, so everyone knows a couple of the individuals that were affected. Here's Whakaari here, which is White Island. You can see its plume of smoke there.
Rick Hopcroft from the Red Cross is part of the emergency response, providing comfort to people who need it most.
It's been shocking for the whole of New Zealand and the community. As much as we know, we are passing on, and as far as I understand, not all the information is provided out there yet. For example, the lists of the deceased and the missing.
The death toll from the tragedy is expected to climb because authorities have been unable to get to White Island due to safety concerns, where it's believed there may be the bodies of another 8 people.
Every day that passes with those bodies unrecovered is a day of anguish for their loved ones who have been affected. We recognise this and we're doing everything we can.
Australian families are waiting anxiously for news of their missing loved ones. Today, Brisbane woman Julie Richards and her daughter Jessica became the first Australians confirmed to have died.
Today is the roughest day you want. And there's going to be a couple of rough days ahead as they come to the finalisation that this tragedy has impacted on them when we're a couple of weeks out from Christmas.
Lisa DALLOW from Adelaide was identified among the survivors yesterday, one of around 30 people being treated in hospital, many of them with severe burns. The family received news late this afternoon that Lisa's husband Gavin DALLOW had died, and her daughter Zoe Hosking is still missing, presumed dead.
Our heart breaks at the loss of Zoe at such a young age, and naturally, of course, our prayers are with those others that are missing and still on the island with Zoe.
There was little warning when the volcano erupted, sending plumes of gas, rock and ash more than 3 kilometres into the sky, as 47 people were on a guided tour of the island.
There would have been this sudden release of very hot gases. These are superheated gases, like steam and water that's up to 200 degrees Celsius. And there can also be hurricane-like winds blowing sideways. You could easily get burnt on your skin and even through your clothes. You would be breathing in hot ash and hot gases.
Rescue helicopter pilot James Taylor was on base in Auckland 250 kilometres away when he took the emergency call. The Auckland pilots initially had few details, only that there were multiple casualties.
It's obviously a fairly big thing to go to a active, still erupting volcanic island, and they worked out the safest place on the island where they could drop off the medical personnel.
The pilots who landed on the island have described finding a dangerous moonscape covered in ash, one they've compared to the Chernobyl nuclear disaster.
It must have been terrifying. I understand there was no warning whatsoever. One minute a beautiful sunny day like this, the next minute hell gets unleashed.
James Taylor landed at a makeshift emergency relief centre at Whakatane, picking up an unconscious female patient with severe burns, who he flew to hospital. And how was she?
Very, very poorly. As you can imagine, being close to a volcanic eruption, the sort of injuries that people get, burns, impact injuries, damage to their lungs, so some pretty sick people.
Attention is now turning to how the tourists were allowed to be so close to an active volcano.
So I think somebody's done the wrong thing over there or didn't get things right or something, I'm not too sure.
James Taylor believes the efforts of first responders saved many lives.
You and your team, how many people do you think you may have saved by transporting them to hospital?
It's difficult to say exact numbers, but the people that were flown to hospital desperately needed urgent, high-level medical care. So I think it's safe to say without the helicopters transporting them, the outcome would have been far worse for quite a lot of those patients.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.